Hey there, this is Mallory, and we're on to now the second game of the Brawler Bash tournament, and it's not going so well so far. I got this crazy list with all these trolls, and a lot of people thought they would do okay, but, big wins and then have some troubles. And so when I start off with a really bad game, because you get points based off of how many victory points you get, plus the things. People are scoring like 4,800 points. And in my first game, I got like 600. So people were really raising an eyebrow, and it didn't feel good being like the crappy guy on the bottom tables, so I wanted to kick some butt. So in this game here, I'm up against a Lizardmen player, and for the most part, the Lizardmen don't really like going up against the Orcs and Goblins. We can get into their lines, kill their source really fast, get to their slan, so fingers were crossed that this was going to be my game. It was also going to be a Blood and Glory game, which is a little bit dangerous. If I lose my general, like I seem to always do, then I break because I only have him and then the banners on the units and stuff. But yeah, hopefully I can get in there, kick some butt, and get some points. So let's see what happens. Alright, so here we go. Kind of a quick little blurry picture of their army there, but one of the main things I'll be worried about is, of course, he has his main unit here of the Temple Guard. He has some of the older Slan, the older Saurus here, but they have the Flaming Banner, so they're a little bit dangerous, hitting me on 3s and then wounding me on 3s. However, keep in mind they don't have that many attacks. This isn't like the Immortals from the last game. Really, them in combination with the other monsters would be a worry. But otherwise, there's nothing really on the board here that I can see threatening my trolls. So for the big overall here, you can see my army. I got the Savage Orc Biggins, Trolls, River Trolls, regular Trolls again, 3 units of Night Goblins, my my Goblin War Boss with the Wizarding Hat is there in the middle, BSB. As for the lore that I got in this game, I believe, I actually can't remember what in the world it was. Here I am. It really doesn't matter because I'm a level 2 against a level 4. He has 2 different types of scrolls. So, oh, I remember. It was the Lore of Death, and I had all these big hopes I was going to Spirit Leech him down or something. But honestly, yeah, it's not going to work because he's a lot better in the Magic phase than I am. So left to right for his side, he has some Skinks. Behind them up on the hill, you can barely see, is his Saurus Cav. He has some Pterodons, and he has a single Salamander, a unit of Saurus, his Engine of the Gods, the Temple Garden Slan that we talked about. He's going to be running the Lore of Life. Then he has his Bastillodon, another unit of the Saurus, another Salamander, and then some more Skinks, and then more Pterodons. The card I went for this one is the one where he'd miscast on doubles on the first turn. It's just really something that, I thought it'd be okay-ish. It also has an ability as well, where what it does is, what I'm trying to do is I get an extra 500 victory points if I keep my general alive. Well, all spellcasters. So that's something I should be trying to do anyway. And, me trying to make it so that maybe he won't go for Thrones first turn just kind of helps, or not going for Dwellers or something like that. But otherwise, looking at this, like I kind of mentioned, I'm not really worried about anything he has, so I just want to get in there and kill stuff. So he vanguards up the Pterodons to where you see them, one on either side, one in the forest, one behind the building there. And just to be clear, we said the little steps coming down is basically going to be open terrain, so we're going to be rotating that as we need. Otherwise, on my turn here, I am just going to be charging the pterodons with the savages because they failed their frenzy, and the pterodons decided to flee that one, so that's all good. And you know what? This is the way my first turn's supposed to go. All the trolls are up at the middle line. All my other units are up there kind of following, and I try and do some magic to him with my death magic. He stops it, but yeah, I'm in his grill. Like I said, the biggest worry I'd have is, if he sends in both monsters and the Temple Guard at, say, like the trolls right now, that would be bad. But even if he does, I should be able to come back from that. Instead, what happens is he's going to be kind of coming over here with his salamanders and doing some breath breathing over here. And otherwise, after his first turn, it looks like this. So he actually does some pretty good damage to my left trolls. His pterodons rallied, by the way. And the other thing I was also trying to show in the last picture is that the other pterodons tried coming over the right side to drop rocks on the trolls, and they did, but then I just threw my fanatics at them. So the fanatics killed the pterodons, and I also lined them up so that they'd be hitting each other after they kind of happened. So they're all gone. Pterodons are gone. He has a few things in my face. As you can see, he didn't come after me. He actually backed up, and so this means I can go and kill off some more chaff and start going for some points. So back to my turn. We had some crazy charges going on. First of all, over here, my savages charged the skinks that are in the way. They actually had a priest in them too. They flee, and I catch them. And the biggest thing about where I ended up is that, as you can see here, the source cav can't see me. So I kind of snuck past them, and the source cav will have to spend a turn turning around. Over here, I charge the salamander, it flees, and I charge the skinks, it flees, and then I actually roll like an 11 to catch them, which is, my opponent was like, oh man, you caught both my guys, but this is actually really bad because the Saurus here can see my flank, and I'll be outside the general's leadership, and I would have much rather failed this and keep myself nice and close. Otherwise, it looks like this, and the biggest thing I had going for me is that he also had the unit here that was kind of blocking my trolls, and what happened is when I charged it and overran, I was actually in the flank of the Ancient Stegodon, so that's where I am now. They're nicely on the flank. River Trolls just kind of being a little bit more safe. I failed Animosity because that's what I like to do on my bunker, so it's kind of stuck back, which is kind of more of the reason why the River Trolls didn't charge in. If I would have passed and they could have moved up and given leadership and stuff, I probably would have set them in too, but as it is, I'll have to be a little bit more defensive and wait. So on his turn, I get some Source to the flank, and that's going to be bad. And after it looks like this. The Source beat me, I broke, I go to the other side of the building. Eventually I'm going to be going off the table as well. But what's going on here is I'm just fighting that Ancient Stegodon, puking all over him, doing good stuff. His Salamander comes over and spouts some fire on me. He has a Saurus Cav, which passed their March test, and they just kind of zip on past me. So they're actually kind of a worry, because if they get to my bunker, really bad things will happen. But still, the way that this is lined up now, I've finally gone past his chaff. The Bastiladon is kind of in my way, but I'm pretty sure I could get in there, kill him, and actually get to that Temple Guard as well. So what I actually do over here, which is kind of sneaky, is the Night Goblins charge the Salamander, and he doesn't want to flee because he just go off the board anyway, going through the Trolls and the Pterodons that rally back there. But he holds, and so once I get with an 8, I shoot both Fanatics towards the Saurus Cav, and all of a sudden they're kind of stuck there, because, I mean, they're free to move up if they want to take 2d6 strength 5 armor-piercing hits, but otherwise, whereas they could have maybe gone for some charges on my Night Goblins and try and get to my bunker, now they're a little bit slowed down. Otherwise, I charge here into the Bastiladon like I was talking about, and as you can see here, I would then clip into after the Temple Guard, and I'll be mainly in the flank, and I don't mind fighting a flaming unit if I'm on the flank. And that's what kind of happens. I beat up that Bastiladon, actually just kill him outright, and then I'm in their flank, and so that's really bad for them. That Ancient Stegodon still holding on as I keep puking against it. The Salamander, I really thought that thing was going to break. I mean, I'm charging in the flank. I got all these ranks and stuff, but he kills a couple and he holds after I do a wound. The Savages are working their way up too, and otherwise, yeah, I'm just kind of cleaning up points, and all I'm hoping is that I can kill off the Stegodon fast enough that I can get them into the Temple Guard as well. So on his turn, he's able to get off, what is it? Throne, I believe, is a spell he got off on the unit. But anyway, I keep on killing guys. He turns to face me. I kill the Stegodon. His Saurus also turned to face me. So now I kind of got to get this fight over with so that they don't rear charge me and do bad things. So really on my turn, now it's really time to get some points. The trolls are able to charge into the Temple Guard, and this was brutal. You know, it's one of those situations where the guy's asking, like, how many attacks do you have? But when all those trolls are getting 3 attacks in their stomps, yeah, those Temple Guard all die and get killed. I decided to chase with the trolls, which was kind of dumb because he's a BSB and he was going to die anyway. So they go off the board, but they probably would have been smarter just to reform and face the right. The river trolls, that's what they do, is they just kind of hold and they face the Saurus to fight them. And as well the Savages, I get them to reform to face down to go against the Saurus Cav because that's really all they're going to get to fight. Otherwise, on his turn, he decides not to charge in with the Savages. Instead, he shoots down with the Salamander, because he has one little annoying Salamander up there. So it does a few more wounds or something there, so that's all right. Otherwise, down at the bottom, he reforms to face me with his Saurus Cav. And this is something where I decide to help him. I say, hey, look, buddy, you know, you're reforming to face me, just go 10 wide. Because if you go 5 plus 5, you're missing out on 3 attacks per model. And, you know, if you're going to go for the fight, you might as well get your full 40 attacks. So, you know, just being a little bit nice. I'm a Canadian. So after he does that, I charge in, and I've already lost a few models from salamanders and shots and so forth, but really it's going to be his 40 attacks against my like 50-ish attacks, depending on how many losses I take. And yeah, I mean, he's going to have a 2+ save to my 6+ ward, but really, I'm pretty sure I'm going to pull this one off, and even if I don't, I should be steadfast. So as it happens, it's pretty nasty and bad. My river trolls, they go into his Saurus and they kick butt and run them down and stuff. Down here, he just whiffs. He does not do well against me at all. And when I roll against him, he just fails all of his armor tests, and he's down to 2 guys. And yeah, it was pretty bad. But at least they're holding on. Otherwise, over here, just showing you the river trolls. Yeah, they just come into here, and again, it's so many attacks. He's -1 to hit me, so he's hardly doing anything to me. And meanwhile, I'm just destroying these guys. Down here, I finish off the Saurus Cav. Up here, just still grinding away. And then eventually, yeah, they all kind of fall and die, and really all he's left with at the end of the day is that one salamander that's trying to flame me and do some wounds and stuff. But yeah, that's the game. So there you go, a really big win for the Orcs and Goblins, and this felt good. I mean, especially after that first game, where I just really couldn't get in there and do anything. I got chaffed up and really kind of picked apart. This is what I was supposed to do. Get in there, rah, rip things apart. And it's just, it really did feel good. Of course, the big thing that really helped in this game is the whole thing where I could look for the angles, where if I hit this here, and if I line up my unit right, then when I overrun, I'll be in the flank and stuff like that. Really, overall, that's really the biggest thing this game came down to. Like I said in the beginning, he did have the opportunity where he probably could have taken the alpha attack and gone in with his Temple Guard monsters and punched through my river trolls. That really would have made things difficult and would have changed up the dynamic. But yeah, it worked out the way it was. I got a good amount of points. I'll now be around the middle of the pack. And at this point here, you know, once Bitten and Anthony, they're racing past me. So I need to get in there. I need to get some points. And we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.